All right, everybody, welcome to the video for the practice lesson for 7 and 8. So for the practice lesson, what we had to do was look at all the different types of triangles that we have that can be proven similar. And remember, there are three types of similarity: angle, side with congruent angle, and proportional sides, and side. So each one of these, when we look at it, we want to try and figure out, well, what is actually congruent? So in this first one, it tells us that angle RPT is congruent to angle RSQ, and angle R is congruent to itself because of the reflexive property. Now, that's not told up here where all this stuff is, but it does have us figure that out because of the triangles that was given. So that's two sets of angles. So number one is angle. Number two, I see vertical angles right away, and I see another set of angles, CAB and CED. So again, this is an angle relationship. If you chose choice 2 for number 1, and you're very wrong. If you choose choice 4 for number 2, you're very wrong, because those are not even possibilities. For number 3, we have another set of triangles. It says that these two sides are parallel. So we have opposite interior angles, or alternate interior angles, however you want to call them, and the angles in the vertical angle spot there. So again, we have an example of angle. Number 4 is a good example. So we have triangle ABC, triangle DEF. It says that AB is 4 and AC is 5, DE is 8, and DF is 10. Notice I'm going up by a multiplier of 2. So these are proportional by the same scale factor. That's important. And it says angle A and angle D are congruent, so this is side angle side. 5 looks like side angle side, but it's actually not. The reason why is the ratio to get from 36 to 15 is not the same as the ratio to get from 45 to 18. If you do just some quick division, 36 divided by 15 is 2.4. 45 divided by 18 is 2.5. So it's a totally different ratio, meaning these two triangles are not similar. Number 6 tells us that we have two triangles again, so first thing I'll do is draw them. Drawing them helps because it helps you identify what sides relate to which sides. It says AC compares to DF the same way that CB compares to FE. So we're comparing this side to this side and this side to this side. So it says what additional information would be needed to prove that these are similar. So we could either use these two angles or say that this side and this side are congruent. Well, if I go angle C and angle F, that would be choice 3, so that uses side angle side, so we're good. The other choices don't make sense. Number 7 is basically saying which one of these is not a set of similar triangles. Choice 1 is, I have the reflexive property up here, so this is angle. Choice 2 is, I have two sets of angles here and here. So again, that's angle. Choice 3 has vertical angles, so angle. So those three don't work. I don't even need to look at 4. I already know it's wrong. Number 8 asks us to prove that these two triangles are similar to each other. So I know that perpendicular says right angles. So I can say AB is perpendicular to BE. I can say that DE is perpendicular to BE. And that's all given. That tells us angle B and angles E are right. And that's because perpendicular lines form right angles. And then from there, I could say angle B is congruent to angle E because all right angles are congruent. So that's one angle, so now we just have to find one more. It then tells us that angle BFD is congruent to angle ECA. Well, that means this angle, which I'll call angle 1, and this angle, which I'll call angle 2, must be congruent because of supplements. So I'll say angle BFD congruent to angle ECA. That was given. So then I could say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because congruent angles form congruent supplements. That's a reason we haven't used in a really long time, but it is something we did, I promise. The last thing I could say is that the two triangles ABC and DEF are similar because of angle, and I have 1, 2 angles showing me that. Next one's super easy. So it says ACB is congruent to angle AED. That's given. That's already giving us an angle. And then I know that angle A is congruent to itself by the reflexive property. So then I know that triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE by angle. I would love to do number 10 with you, but if you're watching this video, that tells you that number 10 is the question that's on your test. So if you were to look at all the proofs that we did, number 10 is the one that's on your test. I will give you some clues, however. It does tell us we have parallel lines. Remember, parallel lines tell us that we have alternate interior angles. And I see some vertical angles here, so we can prove this using angle that way. I'm not going to do number 10 with you because it's the proof that's on your test tomorrow. So if you're watching this video, you have that added kind of bonus. Number 11. Number 11 tells us that we have a parallelogram. What's special about a parallelogram is alternate sides or opposite sides have parallel lines or alternate interior angles. So I'll call that angle 1 and angle 2. Call that angle 3 and angle 4. And that should give me the information I need. So I could say that ABCD is a parallelogram. Given. I can then say that AD is parallel to BC, because in a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel. Then I can say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 because of alternate interior angles. Then I could say angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 by vertical angles. Sorry, my handwriting is bad here. And triangle DEF is similar to triangle BGF by angle. And I'm done. Hopefully this video helps. Remember, this is not the only stuff that's on your test. You have to also be able to do all the other things from the other lessons in the chapter. So make sure that you're doing that review assignment that's worth 10 points on your lowest test grade. That's going to be super important for some of you. Best of luck.